Again with the breaking news, and the search for answers now underway after a deadly shooting, a mass shooting inside a Manhattan skyscraper. 4 people are confirmed dead this morning, including an off-duty NYPD officer who traded fire with the suspect after he stormed into the lobby armed with an M4 assault rifle. Police say the shooter, who was captured on surveillance with a weapon in hand, drove cross-country to New York City and left a note behind. The question this morning, why that Park Avenue office building, home to some of the biggest businesses in the world, including KPMG, investment firm Blackstone, and the NFL. Here was Mayor Eric Adams this morning on MSNBC.
We have reason to believe that he was focused on the NFL agency that was located in the building, and we're going to continue to investigate with our federal partners to ensure that we can find a reason.
Let's take you to the scene now in Midtown Manhattan with MSNBC investigative correspondent Mark Santia. Also with us is NBC News law enforcement correspondent Tom Winter and retired FBI agent and MSNBC national security and intelligence analyst Chris O'Leary. Mark, where does the investigation there stand this morning?
Anna, right now we're standing in front of the building. You can see this is still a very heavy police presence here. Right now, NYPD evidence teams are still on scene. They're still going through the building. One source familiar with the investigation tells me up to 50 rounds were shot were fired inside this building in the lobby, as well as the 33rd floor, saying there are spent rounds covering the floor here of the lobby, as well as up top. Anna, you can see behind me the window that shattered. There are bullet holes in the windows here. So again, a very heavy police presence as the NYPD continues to investigate. But eyewitnesses describe this scene as chaotic.
We heard the shots, and I looked up and I saw the first wall of the first floor shatter, and I realized, oh my God, this is a shootout. It felt like you were in a war zone almost. And I saw a worker run out, but he was running so frantically, I thought he was just trying to get away. By the time he got to us, he said, "Help, help, I've been shot." And I turned to my left and looked at him and saw he had a wound in his back.
Again, back here live, police still on the scene processing this area. NYPD evidence team still collecting, trying to learn more about the gunman. Anna, they're looking at surveillance video from inside the building as well as the area, retracing his steps, sort of building a little bit of a narrative just to who this person was, what he was doing here. Right now, they believe he may have been targeting the offices of the NFL, as you mentioned earlier. So again, a lot of work still happening here at the scene, Anna.
And Mark, what more do we know about the people who were killed here, including that off-duty NYPD officer and a Blackstone employee?
Anna, 2 women and 2 men were killed here. Blackstone confirming their executive, Wesley LePatner, was one of the victims, saying she was, quote, brilliant, passionate, warm, generous, and deeply respected. The company also says, quote, their prayers are with her husband, children, and family. We also know another victim, NYPD police officer dressed in full uniform, was working a detail here inside this building. The officer was inside the lobby working that detail. Officer Didarul Islam was a son, husband, and father. He has 2 children, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. Today, Mayor Eric Adams talked about the fallen officer.
Rudin management, they implemented so many safeguards, and even to the point that they could have stopped the elevator from moving in any direction or bringing it back to the floor. But the security guard that was in charge of that operation was killed at the desk.
He's an immigrant from Bangladesh, and he loved this city. He's a true blue New Yorker, not only in the uniform he wore, but in his spirit and energy of loving this city. And early tonight, I met with the officer's family. I told them that he was a hero, and we admire him for putting his life on the line.
Again, that was Mayor Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, talking about the fallen officer who was working a detail inside the lobby here. Multiple sources tell us the gunman entered this building, didn't say a word, and immediately started shooting. Again, a very heavy police presence out here as the evidence teams kind of go through the building, Anna, collecting evidence. But they tell us and they stress they believe he was a lone actor and there is no threat to the public at this time. Anna.
And it's amazing to see people just carrying on behind you as per normal. It is New York City, and people are always out and about on the streets and sidewalks. They're making, again, this crime so much even more horrific, given how many people were close by and how much worse it could have been. Thank you so much for that reporting. We'll come back to Tom. We've talked about this note the shooter apparently left. What more do we know about it?
Yeah, so this note that was apparently left behind afterwards by the individual who the NYPD believes is responsible specifically references CTE, and that's the brain condition that can be developed by athletes in football and in other sports as a result of repeated hits to the head. It has led to, and we've seen the examples, we know the famous athletes that have had their lives cut short as a result of it. Those athletes, though, have typically played for some time in professional sports with some sort of a significant amateur background. This individual is not believed to have had that background. Yet, on the other hand, you don't know when traumatic brain injuries occur. You don't even know if this is any sort of a result of this, if this just happened to be the reason that he gave because he believed that he should be able to carry out this shooting. So obviously there'll be more work that needs to be done, more information that'll need to be gathered. He does reference the NFL and the power of the NFL in the course of the note. Don't really want to give him all the credit and read through the note from start to finish, but those are generally the themes. So it does appear, based on that, I think that's the reason why the mayor is suggesting that the NFL here appears to be kind of a focal point, given the fact that they're headquartered at that building, for why this individual may have chosen this particular address. We do have some details from the investigation showing that he made his way across the country, starting out 3 days ago in Colorado, then to Nebraska, Iowa, and then last seen on I-80 in New Jersey at 4:24 p.m. Yesterday afternoon. And that's just information that they were able to get from his license plate. By the way, his car was not properly registered. It was out of registration, but that license plate was valid. They were able to track it back to him, and they were able to look at these license plate cameras, that you see at the gantries that we all drive under when we're on major interstates these days, and be able to track him to New York City.
So, Chris, what do you make of the CTE mentioned in the note, the fact that there were NFL offices in this building? I should note that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has called this an unspeakable act of violence. Obviously, they're also dealing with trauma internally there. Is there a connection? What would investigators be doing with this note?
Well, looking at it yesterday while it was unfolding, along with the investigators that were on scene, I immediately went to, this looks like it's a targeted attack and not likely terrorism. This is an individual who kind of moved with purpose, surprised the people in the lobby, had violence of action in the lobby to eliminate what he perceived as his barriers to getting upstairs. And once upstairs, went to accomplish his mission, which was, now what we believe is going after the NFL. And once, he was he felt that he completed it, or he didn't think he could go any further, then he committed suicide. And that, is a pattern that you see in these targeted attacks. And so any idea that it was terrorism really kind of just went out the window quickly. The question about CTE, and we'll see what the autopsy shows, will show that, either he had a physical deficit, which probably should have prohibited him from having any weapons, or perhaps he was attributing to, as Tom was saying, his mental challenges to what he believed was CTE. Either way, this individual should have been prohibited from possessing a weapon. And I will also point to this weapon, and which has been widely debated. I carried it both in the military and in the FBI. It has devastating effects because, the velocity with what the round travels creates a massive cavitating effect in the body. So the survivability at close range is very challenging.
And so, Mark, we don't know the motive at this point. Obviously, this note may play into that. But how are investigators piecing together the shooter's movements inside the building? What do we know about exactly where he went and what he may have said, who he confronted or didn't?
And I can tell you the NYPD is taking the lead on this investigation. They are getting some help from their federal partners, but dozens of NYPD detectives are working this case, including some of their sort of what they call their top-notch squads, the Major Case Squad, Manhattan North Homicide. There are dozens of detectives working this case right now. And Anna, what they're doing is they're looking at surveillance video. There's surveillance video, I'm told, throughout the building, obviously outside the building. We are told from multiple law enforcement sources that the gunman drove cross-country in a BMW, came into the city yesterday, double parked that BMW here on Park Avenue, and then exited. I'm told by law enforcement sources who have seen the video that he was stoic, without emotion, walked into the building holding that long gun, the M4 rifle, walked into the building, didn't say a word, and immediately started firing. Again, there are surveillance videos, surveillance cameras inside. They've been reviewing that. They've also been looking at, Anna, here in the city, they have LPRs, license plate readers, very common nowadays at some of the bridges, the tunnels, so they can track his movements even throughout the city. And that's what they're doing. They're sort of working backwards a little bit just to establish who this person was, why he, how he came here, and why sort of his motive. Right now, again, as you heard the mayor say, they believe that he had some ill will towards the National Football League, the NFL. They're headquartered here. And again, right now, Anna, evidence teams are still here. They're still working this scene. Again, police stress, they believe he was a lone actor, and there is no threat to the public at this time.